The kitten's first night at home, Max stays by her side. The sun had begun to set, casting a soft orange glow across the countryside. Birds chirped gently in the trees, and a light breeze rustled through the leaves as Grandma Rose stepped onto the front porch of her cozy cottage. Cradled gently in her arms was the newest addition to her little family, a tiny gray kitten with bright, curious eyes and fur as soft as clouds. Max, the loyal German shepherd, stood at the door, his tail swaying slowly from side to side. He had met the kitten that morning, an unexpected, delicate bundle of life. From the moment he first saw her, Max had sensed something special. Though his size towered over hers, Max instinctively knew to be gentle, calm, and patient. Grandma Rose opened the door, and Max padded forward, his eyes locked on the kitten. She let out a quiet mew as if announcing her arrival again. Max lowered his nose, sniffed the air around her, and gave her a reassuring lick on the head. The kitten blinked, then leaned into his warmth. Inside, the cottage glowed with a peaceful warmth. The wood floor creaked softly as Grandma Rose set down a small woven basket near the fireplace. She had filled it with a cozy blanket, a plush toy, and a small warm water bottle wrapped in cloth to mimic a mother's touch. The kitten was gently placed inside. She looked up at Max, then curled into the blanket with a soft purr. As the night crept in, the sky turned a deep shade of indigo. Stars began to twinkle above, and the wind outside carried the scent of pine and earth. Inside, everything was still, except for Max, who sat watchfully beside the kitten's basket. Grandma Rose smiled as she placed a gentle hand on Max's back. "She'll be all right, Max," she said softly, "but she's counting on you." Max gave a small wag of his tail and lay down beside the basket, his body curved protectively around it. The kitten stirred, lifting her tiny head and letting out a faint cry. Max let out a low, calming whine and nudged the blanket closer to her with his nose. The kitten nestled in, comforted by the steady sound of Max's breathing and the gentle thump of his heartbeat nearby. Hours passed. The fireplace crackled softly, casting dancing shadows on the walls. The kitten dreamed, tiny paws twitching as she let out quiet squeaks in her sleep. Max never left her side. Occasionally, he'd rest his head on the edge of the basket, eyes still open, ears alert. Even in sleep, he was her guardian. At one point, the kitten woke with a small cry. Maybe she had a bad dream, or maybe the unfamiliar surroundings felt too big, too empty. But Max was there. He nudged the side of the basket and let out a reassuring whine. Then, with deliberate care, he reached his paw over and gently touched the edge of the blanket, pulling it closer around her. The kitten purred, her eyes closing once more. In that quiet room, under the watchful gaze of her newfound protector, the kitten experienced her very first night in her forever home. She wasn't alone. She had Max, brave, gentle Max, watching over her like an older brother. Outside, the moon climbed higher in the sky, casting silvery light through the windows. Max shifted now and then, adjusting his position, but he never strayed far. His loyalty was unwavering, his instinct to protect stronger than ever. Morning arrived gently. The light of dawn spilled across the floorboards, painting everything in soft gold. Birds began to sing again, and the trees whispered with life. Grandma Rose stepped into the living room and found the pair just as she'd left them. Max curled protectively around the basket, and the kitten nestled within it, still asleep, a content smile on her tiny face. She smiled and whispered, "Good job, Max." Max lifted his head slightly, tail wagging once. He didn't need praise. All that mattered was that the little one was safe, That day, as the sun rose higher, the kitten woke with a stretch and a squeaky yawn. She peeked out of her basket and climbed over the edge, tumbling onto the rug with a soft thud. Max was instantly alert, nudging her up gently with his nose. She looked at him with playful eyes and let out a cheerful mew. Their bond had deepened in those quiet hours of the night. What had started as a new, uncertain friendship had grown into something much more, a connection born from trust, warmth, and unspoken love. And as they played together that morning, chasing strings and tumbling on pillows, it was clear that Max had taken on a new role in the house, not just Grandma Rose's loyal companion, but also the kitten's guardian, playmate, and big brother. This was just the beginning of their journey. A story of companionship that would grow with every sunrise and strengthen with every shared moment, because sometimes, the smallest hearts find the biggest protectors, and sometimes, love doesn't need words at all.